Hello, adventurers! Well, here we are. We have our latest Indiana Jones Adventure Series wave 3. I know there's like mini waves where there were exclusives in between. This is the official wave 3 with the build an artifact of the Grail table or Grail room or whatever it was from the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. This wave is a mixture of the Last Crusade figures and then a couple more from Dial of Destiny. Now, we haven't got official confirmation, but it seems most likely that this is the final wave of the Adventure series. There have been no other announcements about future waves. There has been zero discussion or mention from Hasbro of Indiana Jones since, I want to say, Comic-Con, when this wave was shown off for the first time, and that was, what, 8 months ago? So this Last Crusade might be the last wave. So I don't want to show you guys the boxes today because they're the same boxes that we've seen for all the figures. It's basically the character on the front, or the action figure with just an homage to the character in the background and on the panel work, and then you just kind of see the build an artifact on the side. But there's nothing really different about the boxes. They haven't changed on any of the 3 waves that we've seen. They still have that map background, and then I imagine the paper bag inserts will be or the paper tissue will also have the map, travel by map section for Indiana Jones on it. So not much else evolution in the packaging. They don't form a mural or anything, which I think is kind of a missed opportunity. They're just each independent pictures of characters. It would have been nice to have a little mural for each of the waves at least, but they didn't do that. But like I said, this is probably the last wave, so this is the last time we'll see new figures. No vehicles ever came out in this scale, and not even a horse. So why don't we check out the last wave of the Adventure series with this great Last Crusade build an artifact. All right, well, we're just going to blitz through each one here, one at a time. We're going to obviously start with Dr. Henry Jones Jr., or Indiana Jones here, and his Last Crusade look. These all open the same way, just one little tab on the top, keeping it together. And we're going to pop it and then pull out these inserts. Now, the inserts should have everything, in it here. There's going to be a build an artifact element. There's going to be a figure element. And these are all going to be kind of packaged up in this tissue paper. I don't see any additional accessories. They might just be packaged up in here. So again, we had that travel by map here for Indy. And we're just going to pop that open. And then we have our Indiana Jones here. Now, our Indiana Jones figure, I guess the real reason this one is Last Crusade is the tie. The other figures don't have the tie. They just have the shirt underneath, and it's kind of unfastened at the top. So that's sort of the biggest difference in the look here. The jacket's the same, the hat's the same, Harrison's the same, so it's just kind of that look there. He's still got a satchel. He wears it in the back here. Under the jacket. He didn't wear the jacket as much, I want to say, in Raiders or in Temple of Doom. So that's kind of more in his look here. So this time we have elements of the build a artifact combined with the weapons in the bag here. Usually we had those separate, but they saved a little bit on the extra parts here by combining it all together. We have his little gun here, again, his revolver. We have a curled whip and an unfurled whip right here. So that's basically his accessories. So he could hold the whip, he could hold the gun, and there should be a little latch here on the belt. I've always had trouble getting these to work because there's not a lot of resistance to get the whip in there. I'm going to give it a shot. It comes out easy enough, but after you try to pop it back in, it just doesn't want to stay. As you can see here, you get it in a little bit, but then it pops out. Like, you need to be able to get behind it and push. Hopefully that will stay. So yeah, so that is where it looks like when you mount it on him, right there. You can see a lot of wearing on the leather on the jacket there. His gun here should fit perfectly in his hand, and he's got that trigger figure out, so you can kind of manipulate it in there. There we go. And he gets that, holds that gun in there in place. And then if you wanted to, he also has the holster, so you could take that gun out, and then you could pop it in here. See if I have any luck with this. This one has a 2-part holster to it. So you open the one side, you flick open the back side. You got to move the jacket out of the way in order to get this in here. This is a job. So then you pop it in here, push it in a little bit, you tuck over the top part, get this back part here. So quite a complicated holster. I think it just gives it a little bit more authenticity to it as a function. Yeah, I'm trying to get that little bit tucked into that button area. Yeah, that's a lot. The other one, of course, falls off. That's what I meant. I mean, there were a lot of design flaws with this series, and things like this, they're just really difficult to do, to put these parts in here. And maybe that might have been one reason people were not buying these. I don't know. But I imagine now that you don't see, I didn't see any of the third wave here show up at like Target or Walmart. These were just, you had to get them elsewhere, either through Hasbro or elsewhere. And it might have been because Target and Walmart stopped buying them. I'm going to give up on that. But yeah, some frustrating elements to design here, and that would be one of them. So he's the same articulation as we've seen in the wrists and the elbow and the shoulders and the ball head. And then the thighs, there's a upper thigh articulation where it twists, and then they have the double knee, and then you have the ankles. Not a lot of movement here. The pants were the cuffed at the bottom, but other than that, I mean, he's got a good range of movement, like any Black Series figure, basically. It's the same team that sort of designed these as the Hasbro Black Series. So then we're just going to pop this in here, and here we go. We got his whip. So he's got those two elements to him. So that is the Indiana Jones Last Crusade Indy. And then we have this build an artifact element. I'm looking for the instructions, and they don't seem to have any. But I guess what they do is they show you here what you're supposed to do with this element. So I believe it's one piece here, and then this piece sits on top, and then the third piece sits in here like this. So you get like a little, there you go, snaps in place, and then this snaps in place here. So you can kind of get it from context, I guess. And they have little slots like this, so there's only one way you could put this in here, so it's kind of hard to mess it up. And then that's it. So this seems to be a supporting piece for the Grail table, and that is basically outlined there. Oh, he should have one more part here. I didn't see his little machine gun. Here we go. It's taped within this little bag, and this is why you always check the back of the packaging. But he does have a little machine gun from the one scene where he shot a whole bunch of the Nazis and said, "Don't call me Junior." So this is the little machine gun from that scene, and that fits in his right hand as well. But that is everything, I think, at this point. So that completely covers your Last Crusade Indiana Jones with his additional little piece there. And now we're going to check out Henry Jones Sr. Okay, Henry Jones the First. We are just going to pop open the box the same way we did with Indiana Jones. And that's just, again, that single piece of tape on top. And we have a character that is going to have less accessories here, but we want to make sure we got them all this time. Nothing else in the box there. Here's our character, and then here's the accessories. So it's just kind of how they separate that. So again, he's in this paper, and you don't actually have to tear it. There are holes in the bottom of the bag here, so you can just pull them out. But there we go, is our character. Nice likeness of Sean Connery. I kind of like that there. He's got his little two-part jacket with his vest underneath, pants here. We don't have a desert version of this guy. We just have the suit professor kind of version. Same articulation as Indy, so I don't need to go over that. But yeah, I mean, nice design on the character overall here. And then we have our accessory bag. This one you actually do have to tear into. It's wrapped up, so you could just cut that piece of tape and then get it open, but I'm impatient, so I'm just gonna tear this. Here we go. Here's his umbrella. They only have one version of the umbrella, and this is where it is folded up, so you can pop that into his hand here. He has a trigger finger on this side. I don't understand why. That might just be because they didn't want to tool an additional hand, but yeah, I think he's better off without the trigger finger because it just helps him hold the umbrella a little easier. So we're going to go with a non-trigger finger hand for the umbrella. And then I think he has his hat in here. I'll check that out in a moment. There we go. yeah, he's got his hat right here. We'll pop that on there. It completes the look. He's got his little suitcase. It's a nice little suitcase here. A lot of detail on that guy. Let's get him standing. Let's see if it opens, actually, once we get him standing. And there we go. Okay, I don't see its seam on this thing. Yeah, maybe there is, but I don't see how to unlatch it. I don't think it opens. Yeah, I see a seam. I don't think it's meant to open, but he's got his case here, and then he has his Grail diary, so we could pop that in his hand here. Well, maybe it's meant for the other hand. Then that means that we're going to have to really stick that umbrella in this hand that does not want to hold the umbrella. So, again, well, I would not have one with the trigger hand. There we go. And, oh, look at that. He's got a pair of his glasses in here, too. I guess that's really required for the Henry Jones Sr. look. We're going to get those on the head. Man, they made this tough. I think Hasbro would have been better off if they molded the glasses on his head. But then you get those great action shots where Sean Connery takes the glasses off. They fit on there really nicely. So despite my criticism, I guess they work. There we go. We'll just throw the hat on now, and it completes the look. Now we got the whole Professor Henry Jones look here. It's got everything on, the glasses, the Grail diary, the umbrella, and then we have his extra accessories that go on the Grail table. So we have a plate. There were some plates there. Obviously, you wouldn't choose the plate. We have I think this is a faux Grail. We have a little torch thing here, and then we have another one of the faux Grails with little diamonds and stuff encrusted on it. So let me see if I could put these a little closer to the camera and get them to stand up in my hand there, so you can see that a little better. And then you get a lot of detail on that, the flames there on this one, and then just a basic silver plate. But yeah, and then here's that bag again. Make sure you see the detail on the leather worn there and the straps. So a nice little piece of luggage they gave him, and of course he's got his Grail diary, if you could see it in his hand there. But this is closed. But yeah, I really like how this figure came out. A lot of detail on that, particularly with the glasses being a separate part that you could take it off. So that is Henry Jones Sr. Let's keep this in the Last Crusade, and we'll do the Grail Knight next. On to the Grail Knight now. We're going to pop him open the same way we did the other characters. He's going to have even less accessories here. So let's take out our Grail Knight. Let's take out our accessories and check them out. So our Grail Knight here. Fun character, very little scenes. So he's going to have his armor on here. So you can see the armor on the legs there and the chainmail on the head as well. Articulation is still pretty good, even though we don't have, what was I going to say here? We don't have, we have these clothes on him, but despite that, he's still able to have the same freedom of movement as the other characters. He has this little, I don't want to say skirt, but longer tunic part here that doesn't restrict movement too much because it has slits in it has slits in both sides, but it does a little bit on the lateral movement forward and back. But that is our Grail Knight. Now he's not done. He has other parts, so stand by for a moment here as we pop this open, and there he goes. His main part that we want to check out here. We got a ton of parts in here, actually. His main part is this cape. So I was wondering what this hole was in the back. That's for the cape. So after we get it over his head and it drapes down, you can secure it in place by putting it in the little peg. And now look at that. That is holding in there very well. So bravo for adding the peg, because usually capes will go all over the place. But very nicely detailed cape. Look at that. It's got that little emblem on there. It's got these tassels in the front. It actually adds an additional point of contact for the figure, so it's a little easier to balance him. It's very nice, and how they angled the draping on it, so it comes down like this instead of just hanging at the bottom of the ankle, so it makes it look like he's dragging a cape. I mean, that's a very awesome design to this figure. And then lastly, he has his sword. So his sword, you could unsheath it, and it's got his nice Grail sword here in his hand. But also what I like about it is there's a peg on the back of the cover here, so you could mount it on his hip, and I'll do that right here. So that way you have the full look of the Grail Knight. Yeah, once you get that in the hand there. Again, it's not holding it very tightly, but he was a frail old man. So I don't know. This is just not holding. Maybe it's meant to be two hands, because he did swing it two hands. And you could, with these figures, you get that range. So it's just the hilt isn't that long. So it's kind of hard to hold this in two hands. But you can do it if you put a little effort into it. And that is your Grail Knight there, looking pretty sharp. I wish the hand was a little bit tighter to allow you to grip that weapon a little better with one hand, but maybe it's just meant for two-hand hold. And then this is not staying on very well. Let me try it again. Maybe I just didn't push it in far enough. But these things tend to just take a little bit of effort to knock out, so hopefully that stays in. But yeah, there is your Grail Knight. Let's check out his additional accessories. Since he only has that sword and the cape, they gave him a lot of other parts here. He's got a ton of faux grails. He's got another one of these flame lantern things, another plate, another cup, and then of course he has the actual Grail. So the actual Grail here you can see is the same color from the film, and inside it is gold. So they did a nice gold paint. So that's a fun little additional detail they added on there to keep it in line with how it looked in the film. But he has just a ton of accessories here to round out that Grail table. And usually they do that with the Build-A-Waves to make up for the lack of accessories. So I think he's a solid figure either way. I mean, the chainmail looks great. He's got all his little designs and emblems on there, and you can see the hands emerging from the robe look like they're separate, and it's just a lot of layering on here. He just looks nice. So that's our look at the Grail Knight. Let's check out Elsa and finish the Last Crusade part of this wave, and then we'll move over to our Dial of Destiny characters. All right, here is our Elsa Schneider, Dr. Elsa Schneider. This is called Grail Temple. This is the look she had in the desert trek on the way to the temple and in the temple. This isn't her look from the first meeting with Indiana Jones in Venice. So we'll grab all our accessories here. I don't think she's going to have a whole lot of accessories, but we'll see. Of course, we start with our figure again. And she has a lot of detailing going on in the hair. You can see all these little locks here, and then it's tied up in a bun. Her poofy outfit, they captured that perfectly with the sleeves. It's kind of like a pirate shirt or something she had on there. And then her high-waisted pants, and then her boots. A little bit more articulation here, just because she doesn't have any clothing restricting her. So she just has more freedom of movement, no jacket, no tunics, nothing like that. But she has the same points of articulation as Indy, as Henry, as the Grail Knight. I mean, everyone has the same basic articulation points here. The joints are always a little stiff when you move them initially, but they get there. So that is basically the character. As you can see, a lot of nice detail on there. And they have that weird looking tunic thing she's wearing, or pirate shirt, or whatever I want to call it. We'll open up her accessories here and see what she's got in this little... She's got another one of the pillars for the table here. I'll just make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, she's got the cup that was chosen for Donovan, that she picked for Donovan. So I'm not sure if his figure comes with one too. I'll have to check that out. He'd be a fun one to just tie in with this scene to have him, now that you have the table and her. And then she's got these goggles here that she could just wear around her neck. And then she's got the hat version of her when she was outside. So that means we get to do a little head swap. I'll do a little twist and pull, throw the goggles on here, and then I'll put on the other version of the head. And that snapped in really nice. That was a really smooth head transition. I usually struggle with these sometimes on some of the figures, Super 7 or NECA. This was really, really smooth. So I'll give it to Hasbro. They know how to make a head switch. The goggles, I think, are going to be a little loose. I'll try putting these on. Maybe if you angle them up on the hair, if you want to give her the goggle look. Let's see here. I'll angle them a little higher on the head. Yeah, I guess if you get it a little higher on the head, you get the goggles to work. So you can have the full look of her when she was in the Jeep there. So yeah, you could have them draped down, you could have the head, you could take them off entirely and switch it back to her other head. There we go. Very easy to do to get that whole look for her. So very versatile look for Elsa Snyder. You can even carry the goggles here. Does not have a trigger finger, so it makes it very easy. So that is your look at Elsa Snyder. Like I said, she comes with that grail that she gives to Donovan, false grail. And then we have the other parts here. So again, I think it's going to assemble as thus. It will, the first part here will sit into here. And there's only one way this could go, because there is the sides here that angle out. So you kind of have to put these in here. I'll make sure I'm doing this the right way. I think this is the right way, yeah. And then it should snap in place. And then again, you have this groove here and this groove here. So this can only go in one way. And just a little pressure, and then it snaps in place. And now I think we have our two ends of the table. And the table itself should be in the figures for the Dial of Destiny. So that is our Dr. Elsa Snyder. Let's move on and look at our last doctor, Dr. Jürgen Voller. All right, Dial of Destiny now, Dr. Jürgen Voller. This figure is a little bit different. I think we'll take a look and see if this is the younger version or the older version of him, but it's just him with his bag. And we know he was in that movie in two different scenes, or two different parts of the time, with just him in that bag. So it's hard to gauge based on this what part of the movie it takes place in. We'll see by looking at his hair, and we'll see if it's white or if it's brown. And this looks darker, so I'm guessing that this is the train version of the character, where we see him in the beginning of the film. As opposed to the more white-haired version where we see later on in the film. And of course, he's got a great likeness of Mads Mikkelsen there. And yeah, I mean, he's got all the same articulation. He's got that jacket that layers on top there. So very similar, I want to say, to Last Crusade Indy in terms of the articulation, because the jacket is just going to restrict the movement a little bit. But I think he has everything basically down that we would expect there for an Adventure Series line figure. Again, I got to figure out that articulation in the feet to get them to stand properly. It's like right out of the box, their feet are angled very weird, and they just want to topple over. So, yeah, let's check out what we got here. I think his only accessory is a bag. But, yep, his only accessory is this bag. His little briefcase thing that he had in the whole film. And we'll try to get this over his head. There we go. And then that was it. He just kind of kept that there to put the dial in and just walk around and be fashionable. So that is his accessory there. And then he comes with a huge chunk of the Grail table. And that's going to be the emblem piece that goes in the back here with the little Night King thing here. So nice chunk there. And then he has his glasses. I missed these. Basically, the hat doesn't come off, so you're really going to have to angle these on his face, which is very problematic. So let's see how these go on. With the Henry Jones, it was a lot easier because you can get them on there. But let's see. Here we go. We got them on. Okay. Criticisms aside, they did a good job of producing these glasses to make him work on here because they are staying on his face. They don't look as snug as I would like, particularly as they wrap around the ears, but they are staying there and they're not falling off. Yep. So that was our shake test, and they are working just fine. So that is our Dr. Jürgen Voller. There's not a whole lot, so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on him. I tend to notice the less likely you are to buy a character, the bigger piece they give you with that character to entice you to buy him. And if you want to complete this table, you need to buy him. So that is the only real accessory he has here, is that giant chunk of the Grail table. So why don't we wrap it up with Ronaldo and finish out the line. All right, well, we got a Ronaldo here, and played by Antonio Banderas, the movie Best Frogman that Indy knows. And he has an extra size piece of the Grail table because, honestly, why else would you buy him? I'm sorry, but not a huge fan of them adding this character here. They could have done a different character in the Last Crusade wave. They could have just included Donovan in this wave, or that evil colonel from the movie as well. But they did not. They have been avoiding those guys. Let's see, he's got a little wrap here on his leg. He's got these really weird slip-on shoes and some tattoos. on his arm here, and then on his hand. So that is basically it for his character design. His shirt is a little open here, and it's layered on. It's not one piece molded. So that is the extent of our Ronaldo character. Great likeness of Antonio Banderas there. And let's see what else we got. So the only other accessories are his cane. And we'll add this in here. And yeah, again, they gave him a trigger hand. I don't know why they did that. It's hard to hold things with a trigger hand unless you're holding a gun. So we'll just kind of sneak this in from the top. And then we'll have his hat, which could just flop on top there. And then that's it. That is our look for our Ronaldo character. Let's see. Maybe there's a better way of holding this. Maybe this way. Oh, yeah, look at that. There we go. I think it works when you do it like this. So, okay. There we go. It works that way. So that is our Ronaldo character. There's not a whole lot more to this. It's kind of out of context. He has no action accessories. This is just a character. I don't know. This was a weird choice for this one in the line. I mean, it gets another Dial of Destiny figure out there, and I guess they get to produce it on the new line, or on the new film, but there was not really much. They could have got one of the bad guys in the suits. Would have been a more fun character to have Voller and then his two little cronies that, you know, followed Indy around, or that one kid. I mean, that would have been a better character to go with. And then he has the critical part of the table. So basically, yeah, you need to get him because you need the table. So why don't we put this thing together now? I don't think it matters which one of these you use. They're both going to be, I think, the same design on the front. Yeah, they're both the same. But you know what? You have to use this one here because it has these two cuts and the other one doesn't. So yeah, they manufactured it, so basically you don't need instructions, but you have to use it. And look, there are two different symbols here. So you're kind of restricted in how you put this thing together. And there's the whole table. And now we have our plates go here. If I can get it into this thing. There we go. Other plate goes here. Okay, so we have our plates. Now we have a whole bunch of cups. So I'm not quite sure how they want us assembling this. So I'm just going to look at how they have it here. So we'll start with our little flame things. And they have a little bit of a bigger holder on the back here for the base of these. So they go here and here. And I'm not quite sure which direction they face, but I'll just have them like that. And then they want the, and I'm just looking at the little picture on the back of the box here. They want the tiny silver one all the way to this side here. And I guess that fits, the hole fits there. And then they have a couple more here. Let's see, they have the upside down silver one here. Whoop, there he goes. And of course, this is gonna get knocked over. I had this problem with the, if you guys recall the video I did on the, oh man, what do you call it? The Temple of Doom one. Like, I was not doing well with that one. That one kept falling over. And I was like, basically, that one required tweezers. Like, that was just not happening. So this is the Grail table. I think this accessory that came with Dr. Ellis is just supposed to be held by her, not meant to be displayed on here. Same with the Grail here, although as I recall in the film it was in the back. Not an obvious choice there. But here, this is essentially what it could look like for you if you did it. That is the Grail table. Yeah, as you recall, if you watch that video, I really struggled getting those Shankara stones into that skull. Like, I needed tweezers to do it because they just, my fingers are too big. They kept falling over, and they just had to be perfectly slotted on a little notch that was in there. These also have little notches to put them on. This is not, I mean, I'm not going to tilt it forward at all, fall down, but you could see that they're not falling off easy. But it would have been nice if they had little pegs or something that fit into instead of just little indentations. But that is essentially the Grail table, and it looks pretty sharp, I gotta say, with all these pieces on here. It's a nice set piece to have your Grail Knight here, and to have to Elsa here, and then Indy, and then Donovan, if you have the Donovan with the Withering Head, which is a pretty cool figure. he would look pretty good here as well. So this is a great piece to do the build an artifact. I was kind of wondering after we saw the arc, and then we saw the the head with the Shankara stones, like what are they going to do for the Grail? And like it's got to be the whole table, because you can't just build the Grail. So they did the whole table, and that's great. I mean, I don't know what they would do for Crystal Skull. I guess build the whole. I guess they wouldn't do the room, but like build the whole skeleton, and then yeah, I'm not sure what you do for Dial of Destiny. It wasn't much of a display, just 2 pieces of that thing. So, yep, this is your build an artifact Grail table with this last wave here of characters. And it was a very all-encompassing wave, heavily lent on Last Crusade, but you get a couple additional characters. All right, Explorers, that is the end of Wave 3 of the Adventure Series, and quite possibly the end of the Adventure Series, until we hear otherwise. Heard no mention. See no other indication that Hasbro plans to move forward. They have told us since the beginning it was going to be a limited wave or a limited run of figures, but we did get these characters, so you have a lot there to be grateful for in this line between these 3 films. And then I guess some of the 4th one there with the 5th one with these 2 characters, and then the 2 from the Temple of Doom wave. So if you want to check out any of the other build and artifacts, of course we got Wave 1 with the build and arc, and then we have Wave 2 with the build Thuggee display with the Shankara stones. So you can check those 2 out, and then you got this one here. So hopefully we helped you figure out how to build these things and showed you off the figures if you're interested in getting any of them. There's a couple other ones that are exclusives. We have Map Room Indy. We had Club Obi-Wan Indy, and we did a review of that one, so you can check it out. We had, there's the Marcus and Belloc 2-pack, and then there's the Donovan figure, and then there is the Indiana Jones, I think it's just called Professor Indiana Jones, and it's his Venice look where he has the shield marker for finding the Temple of the, what is it, Crescent Moon or whatever, where the Grail is kept. So those are the additional characters in the line. Outside of that, that's it. And that is it. So you can pick up those characters. I think most of them were Target exclusive. I think Donovan might have been wide release, and the Marcus and Belloc one, but the Indiana Jones Professor and the Map Room Indy, I think those were Target exclusives. Club Obi-Wan Indy was a Target exclusive as well. So I could be wrong on the Professor Indy, but I know the other 2 were. So you can grab those, and that would be the entire line. I mean, that is it. There are the retro ones. We have a video of the first wave, and then the other ones were sort of imaginative. They never existed before, so you can pick those up too. But that is the extent of the Indiana Jones products. Don't know where this line is going in the future. It's a shame. It was cool to see these figures come out. They did a great job with them, stylizing them in the vein of the Black series. Loved how they function. But this might be coming to a close because I guess they did not sell very well. So it might be your chance to start picking these up cheap unless they hit discount if you want to get them. I have not seen these in stores this wave. I've only got these at a comic shop. The other waves I did see in stores, so I guess it just varies by location. So that is all for this time. Coming up next, we have a whole bunch of things I don't want to spoil. We have a really big one for next week, and then we have a very new segment I'm going to do at the end of the month because we have an extra day. And I thought it'd be a fun day to do something weird and different. And then next month, Ghostbusters month, the whole month. I'm going to have nonstop Ghostbuster stuff for you guys to check out. I was able to pick up some more things, some really cool exclusive items that you guys are going to like. Just give you a little flavor of what is out there to celebrate the movie and to show off some other lines and products that have been coming out recently, including some prop replicas. So we'll be checking those out as well. Of course, we're going to have other things spruced throughout the year. We're going to have Mega Man. I'm going to show you guys some Mega Man stuff soon, but probably after we focus on Ghostbusters month. So tune back for more. As always, like, subscribe, and follow, and we'll see you guys next time.